Welcome to the Pic-a-Flic podcast spooky Halloween month of reviews. Please sit back and enjoy the show as the Western Wonder gives you his take on several horror movies, both old and new. And now, please welcome the Western Wonder.
Thank you, announcer guy who comes in when you least expect him to. Well, folks, here we are. The show has officially reached 100 episodes. That's excluding bonus content. I just want to say thank you to all the listeners of the show over the years, as well as collaborators and other pod friends who've been nothing but amazing and helpful to me and the show. There's plenty more to come down the road. Bigger and grander things for sure. Now, let's get on to the topic at hand. The review. Question. Who is the baddest, smoothest vampire you'd ever want to meet? Blacula, that's who. Directed by William Crane, the blaxploitation horror flick was one of the highest grossing films the year it released, 1972, and, fun fact, has the honor of being the first movie to win the Best Horror Film category at the inaugural Saturn Awards, which is since awarded said honor to such acclaimed films as The Exorcist, The Wicker Man, An American Werewolf in London, Poltergeist, and Silence of the Lambs, amongst others. Sit back and relax with yours truly, the Western Wonder, as we dive into the story of the Crown Prince of Africa and how he ended up becoming a blood-sucking nomad in search of something important. The movie starts off pretty strong with Blacula's origin. Prince Mamuwalde, played by William Marshall, attends to dinner in Transylvania with good old Dracula, in his grimiest appearance no doubt, to protest the ongoing slave trade, which Dracula argues is more than reasonable.
To totally cease the slave trade? I find that unrealistic. Slavery has merit, I believe.
Merit? You find merit in barbarity?
Barbarous from the standpoint of the slave, perhaps.
Drac becomes even more trifling when he makes a pass towards Mamuwalde's wife Luva. This deeply upsets the prince, and as he politely withdraws from the meeting, Dracula's lackeys attack him, but the power of a crisp backhand to the face leads to the efforts being unsuccessful. What follows is the final phase of Dracula's true plan, giving the prince the dreaded vampire bite and, while thrusting him into a coffin, curses him for all of eternity.
You shall pay, Black Prince. I shall place a curse of suffering on you that will doom you to a living hell. A hunger, a wild, gnawing, animal hunger will grow in you. A hunger for human blood. You shall be Blacula.
We then get the opening credits, which has a fun animation of a bat chasing a woman in what feels like an arcade game of sorts, and it's accompanied by a banger of a musical score. Pure 70s funk with a horn section in full effect here. We cut to the 1970s, more present times, where we meet two gay interior designers named Bobby and Billy, who schemed their way into getting a decent purchase with Blacula's coffin, which ultimately cost them both as they become the first victims of the vamp after Billy accidentally injures himself. I will give Bobby props though, as he tries to hit Blacula with a plank.
Motherfucker, are you out of your damn mind?
But this doesn't work for him. A moment of silence for the two proudly queer businessmen who was about to snag a big Dracula sale. But look at here, Blacula finds himself a fly-ass cape to go with the fit. And with his first successful meal, he returns to his coffin laughing a hearty laugh. Sometime later at the viewing for Bobby, a scientific investigator named Dr. Gordon Thomas, played by Thalmus Rasulala, proceeds to look into his neck bite. With the investigator is two of Bobby's friends, and one of them is a woman named Tina, who just so happens to look like Prince Mamuwalde's late wife Luva in a dual performance from actress Vonetta McGee. Later that evening, Blacula chases her down but doesn't look both ways and ends up being hit by a feisty cab driver.
Damn it, man, you scared the hell out of me. Where did you come from? Are you all right? What the hell you run in front of my cab for? Can't you see, man?
I lost him because of you. Imbecile.
Imbecile? Who the hell you calling an imbecile? You're the nut that ran in front of my cab. You're the only imbecile on this street. Boy.
Oh no!
Who unfortunately also falls victim to the bite of death. Another fun side character gone far too soon. Next, we're headed to the club with a banker of a musical act.
Now is a moving in. Watch out, baby. Tell my shoes like it was before.
For those unfamiliar with this performer, this is the group The Hughes Corporation, the same group behind the hit song Rock the Boat. No relation to the Aaliyah one. This is yet another scene from the movie that makes me say, oh gosh, the 70s look so cool. Now some of the fashions in this club, from the performers to the patrons, just look so fancy. But back to the story at hand. Mama Walde finds Tina celebrating her friend's birthday party and returns her purse. The scientific investigator seems a bit suspicious about the prince's appearance, and to make matters worse, he gets a call back from the office with the news that Bobby's body has disappeared. Prince M suggests that he wasn't fully dead, but Dr. Thalmus says no. Some more friends, including a wisecracking Skillet and Nancy, a photographer friend that appears to take pictures, but as vampires aren't keen to flashing lights, Blacula bows out for the night. And later attacks Nancy in her apartment moments after she discovers that his body doesn't appear in any of the pictures that she took earlier. Later, the suave prince visits Tina to tell her of his origin story and why she resembles his wife to him so much.
We are of the Yabani tribe, you and I. On that mission, I myself was enslaved. My wife murdered, and I was placed under the curse of the undead. Our assassin was the vampire, Count Dracula.
Count Dracula is a myth. He wasn't real.
Oh, yes, he was real as I am now, as real as you are. And my need for you. You are my Luva recreated.
What are you asking of me?
I want you to rejoin me.
Can't.
I will not take you by force, and I will not return.
Are you sure about that?
I've lived again to lose you twice.
Mama Walde? Stay with me.
Entanglements soon take place afterward between the two. Elsewhere, Dr. Thomas visits Billy's graveyard, and sure enough, his corpse appears to attack the doctor, but thankfully he's able to fend off the corpse by putting a stake in his heart, the classic method of taking out vampires. Unfortunately, his co-worker isn't as lucky, as the Cab Lady's vampire form takes him out, and Gordon uses the power of Christ to compel the vampire Cab Lady's spirit. The following evening, Gordon interrogates Prince M on his feelings about vampires and witchcraft.
Mama Walde, maybe you can help me.
What do you think of vampires?
Vampires? I think they're possibly the most fascinating of all.
Do you, believe they exist?
Well, does the devil exist?
The police have a theory about these killings.
Are we to assume that they believe a vampire or some other such creature is responsible?
A vampire.
Fascinating.
However, many in the department don't believe it.
Now, I would think that to be the vampire's greatest defense.
You're right.
Skillet enters the frame, and Prince M once again bails the scene, but this time Tina goes with him.
That is spelled strange stew.
Dr. Thomas hits up Nancy's apartment to investigate and finally confirms what he's been suspecting all along. Blacula is the source behind these vampire appearances. So Doc piles up the police officer to take matters into his own hands, which leads to a tense standoff with the vampire zombies. Something that these cops never seem to learn during all of this, and it's a pretty simple realization that they're figuring out doesn't work, is that bullets don't work against vampire corpses. But throwing Molotov-like lamps do, apparently. They finally reach the final boss, Prince Blacula, who escapes the scene to catch an urgent appointment by turning into a bat, something that Bruce Wayne probably wouldn't have seen coming. The police chase for the prince continues as Tina joins in a search and eventually gets lured into a chemical plant by Blacula. Unfortunately, amidst the standoff, one of the cops accidentally shoots her, which leads to Blacula giving her the vampire bite as he promises vengeance to everyone who has wronged him and his patrol.
Dr. Thalmus! You and your dear friends are dead! Not one man shall escape my vengeance! Not one man shall leave here alive! Search out every shadow, every corner! This will be your inglorious tomb! Your tomb! Your tomb! Your tomb!
Police officers get thrown and tossed around like disposable bowling pins, though one is able to spot Blacula's coffin and alerts Dr. T. Unfortunately, this ends with Tina dying for good after the feds put a stake in her heart, believing that she was the prince hiding in the coffin. Seeing as there is nothing to live for now that she's gone, the prince concedes the match and fades away in the sunlight, with a pretty grisly visual of maggots feasting on his flesh as a final shot. And that's the movie. A pretty sad conclusion to the charming prince who swooned his way across New York City. Despite the usual blaxploitation antics balanced with more inspired and serious moments, and also being a low-budget project limits the creativity a bit, Blacula is such a fun movie that more people need to see. It's not your average Dracula movie by any means, but it stands out as its own thing. On the one hand, you have an amazing leading performance from Shakespearean actor William Marshall as Prince Mamuwalde, aka Blacula. I read that he only took on the role if he got to play it as serious as possible, and quite honestly, it worked out in his favor. The reason that I don't really see a remake for this movie happening today is simply because I don't believe anyone can replicate the magic that Mr. Marshall brought to this character. You really do feel for him by the climax of the film. Additionally, some of the supporting cast was good as well. From Vonetta McGee as both Luva and Tina, a wonderful counterpart to the charismatic prince, to Thalmus Rasulala as Dr. Thalmus, the straight man of the operation. Plus, the aforementioned side characters provided some good comedic relief that the only blaxploitation mediums could offer. Plus, there's a rocking musical score from one Mr. Gene Page to boot. As I said before, I just enjoy stuff from the 70s, so if I can dig the overall aesthetic of the film, then so should you. On the Pic-a-Flic rating scale, Blacula gets a pristine 3.5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. If you haven't seen it, check it out as soon as you can this Halloween season. Next up on the pod of Spooky Month lineup of reviews, my review for Ryan Coogler's Sinners, still my #1 film of the year. Why is that, you may ask? Well, stay tuned. But in the meantime, if you want to be in the know from when new episodes are out, make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to said shows, and tell a friend to tell another friend, and knows another friend down the block to check out the pod. All support and feedback is appreciated. If you're listening on YouTube and you enjoyed this episode, make sure you smash that like button, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. And also, if you want to follow the show on social media, we can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under the username handle at Pic-a-Flic Pod. That is at PICAFLICPOD. And if review logging is your thing, you may be familiar with Letterboxd, where you can also find non-audio exclusive reviews that do under the aforementioned Pic-a-Flic Pod username handle. So be sure to follow me there if you use that platform. Once again, thank you all for tuning in as always, and until the next one, this is the Western Wonder, signing out. Peace.
Bye, have a great time.